All right, let's talk about something that is absolutely critical for every single child sponsorship organization out there: data compliance. I know. It doesn't sound like the most exciting topic, but getting this wrong can have a huge impact on your mission, your donors, and most importantly, the kids you're working so hard to help. So, let me just ask you straight up: is your nonprofit's data a ticking time bomb? It's a heavy question, for sure. But in today's world, if you're handling sensitive information without a totally bulletproof compliance plan, you're taking a massive risk. Just how big? Well, let's take a look. Check out this number: $5.7 million. That's the fine TikTok got slapped with back in 2019. Why? Because they violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, you'll hear it called COPPA, by collecting data from kids without getting their parents' consent first. And look, this isn't just some cautionary tale for giant tech companies. It's a real-world, multi-million-dollar example of what happens when protecting children's data gets pushed to the back burner. And believe it or not, a fine like that is really just the tip of the iceberg. The stakes here are incredibly high, and the risks go way, way beyond just a financial penalty. Let's really break down what's on the line. First, yeah, the fines. Under laws like GDPR in Europe, we're talking penalties that can hit 20 million euros, or even 4% of your entire global revenue. But honestly, the money is just part of it. A data breach can absolutely shatter your reputation, grind your programs to a halt, and drag you into expensive, exhausting legal battles. When you get right down to it, noncompliance is a direct threat to the very heart of your mission. So, how do you steer clear of all this? Well, it all starts with understanding the legal landscape. And I get it can feel like a complete maze of acronyms and regulations. But don't worry, we're going to focus on the key ones you absolutely have to know. Okay, so there are really three big ones to keep on your radar. First is COPPA, which is just vital for our sector since it protects the online privacy of kids under 13. Then you've got GDPR, which applies to any data you have from people in the European Union. And finally, there's CCPA, for residents of California. And here's the kicker: even if you aren't based in any of these places, if you handle data from people who are, these laws still apply to you. Now, all of these laws, they really revolve around protecting one thing: personal data. But what is personal data? The definition is probably way broader than you think. It's basically any piece of information that could be used to figure out who a person is, especially when you start combining different bits of data together. Let's dig into what that actually means. Of course, you've got the obvious stuff. We all know that things like names, birthdays, addresses, credit card info, and health records are personal data. That's a given. No real surprises there, right? But here's where it gets tricky, because it's the less obvious stuff that often trips organizations up. A child's photo? That can have biometric data. Information that seems totally heartless, like a rural village in Guatemala. Well, what happens when you combine that with a school name and a little family background? Suddenly, you might have enough to identify a specific child. Even things like a donor's communication patterns can be considered personal data. Okay, so we've talked about the risks and the rules. Let's switch gears and get to the good part: the solution. We're going to walk through a clear, step-by-step action plan to protect your organization. Before we jump into the steps, you have to understand this one fundamental rule: the kind of data you have determines the kind of consent you need. It's not one size fits all. For your sponsors and donors, you need their informed adult consent. But for child data, the bar is set much, much higher. You absolutely need verified parental consent. This table really lays it all out. For child data, you're looking at strict COPPA compliance and that all-important verified parental consent. For your sponsors, the focus is on things like secure storage and making sure they can access their data. And for your general donors, it's all about having transparent policies and really clear ways for them to opt out. So, here's your 4-step game plan. It's totally doable. 1. Map and classify every single piece of data you collect. Know what you have, where it lives, and why you have it. 2. Secure consent. Put really solid processes in place, like using digital signatures for parents. 3. Lock it all down. This needs encryption, role-based access controls, so only the right people see the right info, and secure backups. And 4, and this is a big one: train your team. Everybody, from your volunteers to your CEO, needs to understand these rules. Now, that 4-step plan is essential, but let's be real, trying to manage all that manually can be an absolute nightmare. The good news is technology can be your best friend here, turning compliance from this huge burden into a streamlined, normal part of your workflow. Modern platforms like Help You Sponsor are literally built for this stuff. They centralize all your data,
which means you can finally get rid of all those risky, scattered spreadsheets. They can automate consent tracking, creating a perfect, searchable record of who said yes to what and when. And they come with built-in reporting tools. So if you ever face an audit, you're ready to go in minutes, not weeks.
This really is the bottom line. The right technology saves you time and, crucially, reduces human error. It takes what can be a really stressful, reactive task and turns it into a proactive, manageable system. It makes sure you have the proof you need right when you need it. So we've covered the what and the how, but to wrap this all up, I really want to focus on the why, because this is about so much more than just checking boxes and avoiding fines. There is a quote from the source material that just says it all perfectly. Data compliance does more than mitigate risks. It strengthens your mission. Think about that. This isn't just about playing defense. It's a proactive way to show everyone that you are a responsible, trustworthy steward of the incredibly sensitive information people have given you. And the payoff for doing this right is huge. Strong compliance builds trust. That trust boosts donor confidence, which in turn ensures your mission's stability. But above all else, it fulfills your most fundamental promise, to safeguard the children you serve. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Your entire mission is built on a foundation of trust. The question is the way you're handling your data building that foundation up, or is it creating a crack? Thanks so much for joining me.